This is the Ninja's Way podcast, where we talk all things ninja industry, ranging from top-tier athletes to the local ninja entrepreneur. Listen to their journey to success as they conquer obstacles in ninja and in life. This is the Ninja's Way. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ninja's Way podcast. I am here with Mikey today. He is the owner of the Ninja Lair. He is a musician, he's a dad, and he is an all-around ninja. We're going to hop into some things about him and his gym today. Mikey, thanks for being here with us.
What's going on? How are you? Thanks for having me. I'm excited to finally make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you tell me the little bit of a story about how you got into ninja?
Oh, Ninja. My first season on the TV show was actually season 4. It's a long, long time ago, season 4. I didn't do Ninja at all. I didn't know how to do Ninja. I didn't even know what Ninja really was, but I applied for the show. And then I got a call and I was like, wow, I need to figure out how to do this because I don't know how to do any of this. And then turns out, or I was fortunate enough that a gym called the Warrior Lab was very close by to where I lived, which is owned by Chris Wilczewski, which is also, now it's called Movement Lab. And he's also the creator and founder of L and W and L. So I ended up having a good ninja in my backyard pretty much to teach me how to do like techniques and just give me access to the gym and learn. And then season 4 of my first season where I got to go to finals and I filmed in Miami and then filmed in Vegas. It was a lot of fun. It was just a very like sporadic type thing. I grew up as a wrestler. I was always athletic. I grew up lifting weights. I was always pretty strong. I just had to figure out how to do some techniques and learn how to do this stuff. And I had a good teacher.
No, that's awesome. That's a cool story. And I'm assuming like Jeske's on the other side of the country, right? So what got you to Las Vegas?
I moved out to Las Vegas after a few years. So I'm originally from New Jersey and like the Philadelphia area. So that's where my family's from. My parents still live out there. And then I moved out to Vegas in 2014 just because I wanted to do something different. I worked in radio, I do music, I hosted parties, I emceed events. I wanted to be in a place where that was like a thriving community. That was like a big part of the area, and no bigger place than Vegas for that. So there's casinos, there's events, parties, conventions, everything you think of happens in 1 week, all the time, every week, every day. So this was the place to go. And yeah, that's how I got out here.
Cool. Yeah. And there was like a big void for ninja in that area, right? What kind of made you decide that ninja was going to be a good business model, and what made you want to go and open up a gym?
So I did season 4, season 5, and I did season 6 of the show. And that was when I was still living out in New Jersey. That was when you still had to commute to the show, drive to St. Louis, all this stuff. And you didn't get any money for doing anything. You got a call for the show and you had to still make your way there. So that was a cool part, but it was expensive. It was an expensive part of Ninja and a part that now is not a part of Ninja anymore. So it's like one of those things where you had to make a decision. Are you going to continue doing Ninja, keep paying for this expense in the middle of May in a busy season for like things that I was doing, or you just have to forget about it? And in the time when I started thinking about moving to Vegas, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of going to forget about it because we used to film in like May, and that was like the top of the season of parties and events out here in Vegas. So I just put it on the back burner. And I just didn't think I would do it again. And that changed. I got a coaching job out here in Vegas about 2018, like right before COVID happened. And I ended up being there for 5 years. It was crazy. And I just fell in love with the Vegas community. The parents, the kids out here are it's not like the stigma you think about Vegas. Vegas community is very tight. It's very cool. It's a different type of parent. It's the parent like me who moved out here and wanted to do something different for themselves. And now they're doing something different for their family. It's just a cool community. So if you want to take all your cool people and people that were just thinking differently, thinking outside of the box, they moved to Vegas, and now that's the community of parents that are out here. And it's a very interesting life, and I love it. And I started just enjoying the community more and more, and then started getting into the competition aspect of things, the leagues that started popping up. I started pushing for the kids that I was coaching to do the stuff. And then I was just stuck in it again. And I felt like I love it again. I started applying for the show again and got called again in season 14, season 15, and hopefully season 17 here. Yeah, it was just the community, I think, that drove me back into Ninja. And then eventually me and the the gym I was working out of didn't see eye to eye, and I had the means and I had the stuff put together to open my own gym. I just didn't do it yet. And then me and this gym had a falling out, and I was like, all right, this is the time to do it. And then Ninja Lair is now open and thriving.
What factors do you think like really take to create a successful ninja gym? What sets you apart from any other gym that may be in the area or any other gym around the country?
I think the one thing that sets Ninja Lair apart from everything else is it's a theme. You walk in, there's Ninja Turtles, there's Pikachu, there's things that are like very nostalgic or fun to the adult, but also very fun and wow, I got to hang on Pikachu today in the gym for the kids. It's green, it's black, everything like you walk in. That's the one thing I've learned about doing parties and events all over the country. The only thing people remember is the experience.
Yeah.
They don't remember who was there. They remember, wow, I remember that photo booth where I took the picture with the glasses on and the funny hat. They remember the experience. So when they come to Ninja Lair, they remember the experience. They walk in, first thing they see is a manhole cover from Ninja Turtles. And they're like, what? Some kids don't even know what a manhole cover is, but they see, oh, that looks like a turtle shell back. Whatever it might be. It's just they remember those things. And then I make sure that my customer experience with them, we always say hello immediately whenever he walks in. Like we make them feel welcome. Make the birthday parties very unique to whatever they want to do. I don't make anything like this way or no way. If they want to have Michelangelo walk through the door, Pikachu, I don't care. Let's do it. If you want a cake that's 5 feet tall, let's do it. I'm down for anything like that. And I think it's the experience. You can't go to a gym and it feels the same as somewhere else.
Sure.
To me, I call that the Planet Fitness. If you go to Planet Fitness and it's just Planet Fitness and you know what you've gotten into, I want every experience to be different.
I think that comes across a lot through your social media. That's how I actually found out about you. Was I kept seeing all of these mom influencer videos of your gym, and I was like, yo, this place is sick. It's super cool. It's got the theme, right? And then it eventually led me to your profile. And I was like, oh man, this you live, you breathe it, right? Like you embody that. And I can see that. But I'd really noticed a lot of how you're leveraging some of these social media relationships. And so tell me a little bit about what do you feel like is most effective? You have a decent following on social media yourself. Do you feel like that helps drive traffic to the gym? And then maybe what strategies have you used that have actually really worked to help get people walking through the door?
I think social media is obviously it's king. It's the best. It's the biggest thing for small businesses that's ever happened. There's no exception. There's no question about that. You just have to know how to use it correctly. If your page looks unique, like you said, if it looks like appealing and you want to check out more, then you've done well. But yeah, the social media influencers, like I've had very good relationships with a lot of different influencers throughout the years. I've been on a lot of TV shows outside of Ninja Warrior, and I've leveraged as much as I possibly can. People come to Vegas for vacations. So my goal is to get them in the gym while they're on vacation. Like they're looking for their experience in Las Vegas to be better. So I try to do that for them. The mom influencer page thing, that was actually my wife, Brandy. She
Okay.
She was the one that started reaching out to the mom influencer pages on Facebook, and she started just like posting little things like that. And then they call it wind. I don't know, but it's so cool because I want them to come in and film. So if they want to come in and have a free day and experience it, do it. Let's go. I want them to come in and do it. I want them to feel welcome. I'll do giveaways with the pages. Giveaways are big, like where their followers get something in return. I'll host mom days. Bring your kid for half off because I know school started, but you have that second child that doesn't go to school yet. Let's bring that second child here for half off day. Like I'm working on homeschool programs where you can bring homeschool groups here. I think accessibility. You want the gym to just be accessible. You don't want to have strict open hour gyms. You don't want to have things that make the parent not know when they can bring their kid. I think they should know, oh, I can always bring my kid there. Even if classes are going on and they can come in for open gym, I'll be like, listen, you want to do a trial class right now? It just started. I'll pop you in right now.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to be. Family friendly, open, accessible, because parents have a lot going on, especially parents with 2-3 kids. When they got one that does baseball, one that does this one, and one just does ninja. It's a lot of traveling. You don't want to make it harder for them.
I think that there's some good insights that you shared there of leveraging these mom Facebook groups, that's something that I tell my clients all the time is like, there's a gold mine there if you can just speak to that right audience. And that's who you're talking to. You're talking to the mom, you're talking to the parent. They're the people that are out there seeking. And it's funny, you're like, oh, I gave that job to my wife. And it's, yeah, sometimes you need the right avatar to go and speak to that person to really be able to draw them in. So I appreciate you sharing that.
My wife is very creative with the thing. She was reaching out to all these pages. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a mom group or like local businesses are close by. She'll do collabs with them where cross promote. That type of all that stuff matters.
So does she own the business with you, or are you the
My
team?
wife and I are the owners. We're a team together.
So how has that been? I'm also in a business with my husband, and that it has its pros and it has its cons. Maybe what challenges have you guys experienced? What things have maybe gotten better about your marriage because of owning a business together?
I think it definitely brings up challenges when it comes to just who's at the gym and what and like when we're at the gym together and when we can be because honestly, it's because we have a 3-year-old. That's honestly what it comes down to. Me and her work fine together, but when you have my son, who he's a daddy's boy, so he wants to be on the floor with daddy at all times. And
Right.
when I'm coaching classes and when I'm doing like privates or things like that's where you can't really have that happening, or you can. It's just very dangerous for him. So I think challenges. It's just who's doing this because we want to do everything together. We want to do as much as we can in the gym and be here. It's just we have to give ourselves roles and we have to stick to them. And when the more we try to do things like together in a role, that's when it doesn't work out. Or we just have to like, all right, I'll leave with Leo now and you stay. That's the only time. Other than that, it's been fun seeing how we work together in a business wise because all the things that she likes doing, I don't like doing. So it's been working out pretty good. And I don't know, it just that's actually worked out really well. I'll do all the obstacle part. I'll take care of the gym, the classes. She does all like the admin operation stuff and she loves doing that. And I don't like doing that. So it's perfect.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's a match made in heaven, and just knowing your roles and being able to communicate those and stick to your lane. That was our saying was like, okay, you're driving in my lane now. Go back to your lane.
What's that? You're doing too much. That's what the kids say. You're doing too much.
There you go. How big is your space? How big is Ninja Lair?
So it's 4,400 square feet, which I guess doesn't sound like a lot in comparison to other gyms, but I think I've made the the best use out of my space as possible. My rigging, I don't have much trussing into the ground. My trussing goes into the ceiling, so you can flow through the whole gym without getting down ever. You can just go all around, which is nice. And I think that was like my biggest thing. I've been to so many gyms that have things in the way, but I was inspired a lot by the Grip in St. George, Utah.
Ah,
My buddy Brian and Holly Beckstrand, they own that gym out there, and they both helped me a lot with opening this space with just like POS systems and just like looking at their layout and things that they've done. They don't have any trussing on the ground. Everything goes to the ceiling. So they can pick up the mats and the floor is clear. That is an absolute ninja gym hack. If you can pick up everything on the ground and then you can just sprint through, it's amazing.
yeah.
Obviously, I still had to put some trussing to the ground, but I eliminated so much more that I could have or would have originally. And I think that's the biggest thing. You go to some gyms and you can't make a left or a right without hitting a truss.
Yeah.
So that's what makes me not want to go back to a gym. I'm bigger than a kid. So like when I'm swinging through things, if I hit a truss, I'm going to the hospital. If they hit a truss, they want an ice pack. So a little different, but I think that was a big thing about the space. And then I'm currently working on, fingers crossed, getting the entire building. We have a neighbor right now that's leaving. And if that happens or when that happens, I'll have 7,500 square feet total space. And it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that was going to be one of the questions. Something that I've realized through my journey of owning Ninja Gyms and opening Ninja Gyms was that you really don't need the massive space. Like there is an advantage to having a smaller space, at least when you first get started, because you get profitable faster. So I was curious as to like your perspective of, it sounds like you're maybe looking to expand and get a bigger space, or do you feel like that smaller space has provided you an advantage?
I think the smaller space has been nice, but I think I'm very handcuffed right now with what I'm doing. I have a wait list for my classes. I'm booked out with birthday parties through the end of the year. I think if I was able to double down and have 2 birthday parties going on at once and I would add a couple more classes, I think that's going to be like a huge advantage for myself because I'm in a very good area in Las Vegas. I'm not anywhere near the strip or what anybody would see. I'm in like the suburbs
Mm,
of Las Vegas. I'm in the mom area where,
yeah.
school's right down the street. There's a Target in my parking lot. There's a Kohl's in my parking lot. There's
Yep.
5 juice places right around me. So there's a trampoline park across the street. I'm very centralized in probably the best location I could have ever selected.
Yeah.
So it's great, but there's a lot of people, a lot of foot traffic, and I don't like saying no to people. I hate when I have to say no. I can't put you in a class, or no, we don't have enough room.
Yeah.
That is not fun. So I know a lot of ninja gyms. Like my first one that I went to was tucked away in the middle of an industrial area next to a train track and an ambulance repair shop. And you wouldn't know it was there unless you were going.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's typically what a lot of my experience has been with Ninja Lair, Ninja gyms over the years. I know it's changed dramatically throughout the years, and they're more retail centered, but a lot of them you still have to, search for.
Sure. And it sounds like you were really proactive of trying to find that ideal location, right? Where the foot traffic is, where the moms are already going, right? They're going to Target, they're going to Kohl's. And I'm sure you might have to pay a little bit more of a premium on the space itself to get in there, but having
Yeah.
that foot traffic and the visibility is probably worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. You have to take risks. That's one thing. I've worked with different businesses, and I've worked in all these casinos and stuff like that throughout the years in Vegas. And if you don't take a risk, you're not going to get any reward. You have to at least take some risk. Opening a gym already is a risk, but
Yeah.
being a conservative owner is great if you have a conservative like mindset about your business. I don't. I have the biggest, I think Ninja, outside of the show and just elite, I think it could be the biggest thing in the world.
Mhm.
And if you ask any of the parents, and I'm sure they think it too,
Yeah.
they really do. And now like the Olympics are coming up and all these things that give these kids more drive and more goals to reach. Like this is the biggest thing that could ever happen. And if you limit your own space, if you limit your creativity, I think you've already put a speed bump in the way.
Sure.
There's no point. If you're gonna do it big, that's the only thing I've ever done my whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to have that mindset of abundance, right? And if you can have that abundance, it's going to come back to you tenfold. What kind of challenges that maybe you had no idea that you were going to run into with being a gym owner?
I think the biggest challenge with this is the operations side, which my wife helps me a lot with. And she does most of it. It's the POS systems and learning all that stuff and keeping track of balancing this and inventory. I knew it was all there. It's just when you have to do all that stuff, it makes it like, all right, this is the boring part. Let me go. I want to build an obstacle course.
Yeah.
It's not, so it's a challenge, but it's more like, oh, you got to do it. But I think we have a smooth system now. Everything's been great, so that it makes it better. Vegas, you have to deal with air conditioners out here because it's really hot. So
Yeah.
one of our air conditioners is getting replaced right now. So I had to buy a swamp cooler in order to like make it go. That kind of stuff sucks. I
Yes.
will say that. Yeah, that's the worst part is knowing you have to pay $12,000 for an air conditioner.
Yes. Totally. And people just don't understand that sometimes of what we have to go through and the expense that it actually takes to just have something basic like a air conditioned gym.
You have to rent a crane to go put an air conditioner on a roof. You can't just walk it up.
We spoke at Worlds, and if you're open to talking about this, you dropped in my ear that you were thinking about a second location. I'm curious, what was the thought process? Like, how do you know that you're ready for a second? What kind of things are you looking at to determine? And then is this also going to be in the Las Vegas area, or are you looking to a new market entirely?
So I'll talk about, I'm looking at second location. I'm looking at multiple locations. So I would like to have another one in Las Vegas, but it would have to be across town in like a Henderson area, which is 20 miles away, because I know I have a lot of demographic that drives all the way from there. So if I already have it out there and I'm out here, if I'm out there, it will, in my mind, it's going to expand. And I would do the same type of thing, start a small space out there and see what happens. But yeah, that would be like second location. I'm looking in Cali. I'll tell you, I'm looking in like up near the Sacramento area in Roseville. I'm looking in San Diego. I'm looking in Arizona. I've gotten inquiries from so many people about franchising. And I'm not even kidding, like at least 10 to 15 conversations by different people about franchising. I'm meeting with people because this coming week they're literally flying into Vegas to talk about franchising. So that's been my driving force. If all these people are asking about franchising, that means visibility on social media. That means things that I've been doing have been working somehow, some way, and they like it. So if they like it and these people are coming out that have money, why wouldn't I want to open up a second location? Whether I franchise or not, that's the thing. I might just own more and then franchise later.
Yeah.
Or so that's what I'm trying to figure out now. But yeah, there's this is potential for 5 locations, what I'm looking for. I think I would do 5 and then franchise. That's where I'm at with things, unless there's like a good offer on the table. But yeah, that's the driving force. People are asking me and calls and DMs and things like that and meetings. So to me, that's the value right there. If they see it, and why wouldn't I entertain it? I think that's what it came down to.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of different kind of ways to skin that cat around. You can have a franchise model. You can have kind of a more of a corporate type model where you're talking about like you own all 5 of them. I've also seen people be really successful with partnership models, them kind of growing up somebody within the system and then they go and transplant them to be like an owner operator and you still have ownership of the business, but still entertain a partnership model. So there's definitely different ways to think about that, but it sounds super exciting to have so much interest and so much demand for that. And it sounds like they're going to be seeing more Ninja Lairs popping up here and there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it could happen fast. That is the one thing, the good thing you said though about growing within, because one thing about opening multiple locations or different ones with different people is you expected to be the same as the way you did it. And like, I don't know, man, there's only one of you. And in my opinion, it's like, there's obviously more ninjas, but there's only one of me that I like it like this, if that makes sense. Not in the most non-controlling way. I like it like this. And I want it to be as held to a standard. I would do different themes. I was thinking about doing like a villain themed Ninja Lair. I would love to have that be the thing. It's, oh, wow, I went to the Ninja Turtle one, and then I was at the villain one. And then I went to the Pokemon trainer headquarters. That was like, I grew up in a very anime, comic book, Ninja Turtle driven, like my whole life was like, I wanted to be a cartoon character from the day I was born. That was literally how it was. And that's why I wear different colored hair. I just don't care. I want people to look at me and be like, who is this guy? What is he doing? And then they meet me and I'm nice. And I'm not like what they probably expected. But I always wanted it to be like that because when you stand out, and you stand out for the good reasons, that's when the good comes to you. I feel like you put good karma out into the air, good energy, and you actually make people feel good about themselves. All that comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that you brought up a good point. It's like if you're going to put it out and you're going to do it at scale, it's like it should feel and taste like Ninja Lair here, and it should feel and taste like Ninja Lair there. And that's a really hard problem to solve once you start to scale faster and get more locations. And I know a couple owners that are experiencing that right now, really trying to have control and consistency of that product so that it can look, taste, and feel here and there. But I love the idea of different themes and like the villain version of it. I think that would be super cool. It sounds like your party and event planning background really seeped into that to create this unique flair to your Ninja Gym, which I think is super cool.
It's gotta have an experience. I don't know how often you've been to Vegas, but there's other places out here that are coming, and I think they're so cool. Like they're doing an adult mini golf place that's coming. So you got to be 21 and up. You got to play mini golf. So you have a bunch of people that are drinking and playing mini golf at this cool themed mini golf experience that have like Vegas, like casino type things. But that's an experience that people would never forget. They probably will plan around it. Then they have alien themed places, Area 51 or 15 it's called out here. And it's like you go in, it's a big adult playground. That type of stuff wins in Vegas. It wins anywhere. It's just you have to see the demand for it, I think. And obviously Vegas does. And I think that's brought it was a huge driving factor for me. Vegas is just so cool.
Sure. Yeah. You are a dad as well as a gym owner. So you talked a little bit about this. I love seeing the videos of your son doing these ninja obstacles. I think that's my favorite part of your content that I personally like to
Me
watch.
too.
But what do you feel like? How do those two worlds collide? What do you feel like the perspective of being a dad and a parent, as well as being a gym owner? How has that perspective maybe shaped the product and what you try to deliver to other kids?
Man, my son is just the coolest. I don't know. When I have him in here and I see him doing what he's doing, like he does all that by himself. Like I have things set up, he just goes and does it.
Yeah.
He sees the other kids doing it and then he just wants to try it. And he actually says, "Dad, no, I do it. I'll do it." He doesn't want the help. So I think I don't know, it's just seeing him do these things and it makes me believe that there's no it truly I've always believed it, but it truly makes me believe that there's no age limit and there's no age restriction on it. That's why we have toddler time. That's why we have these things. I'll bring rings all the way down to the ground if I have to for these kids. I think that was like the biggest thing. Seeing him do this stuff and seeing how open and loving and obsessed he is with it at such a young age. Like he just turned 3 and he's already got across the rings and across the monkey bars and he was shade on the monkey bars. Like he did this and he sets up his own balance courses. Like he'll get stuff and just make it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, if I see him doing it, like I know he's in here all the time, but there's no reason why any kid shouldn't do this. And I think I try to push it to every parent. Hey, if you have a toddler, bring them, man. Let's do it. I have a toddler room also. If you have an older kid in class, you can go in the toddler room. I want everybody to know that this experience is not just for X. It's for everyone.
Yeah.
From 0 to 60. I don't care.
Yes.
How old's Bob Clark now? What's
Yeah, that's funny, man. I was a part of the team that helped build the Ultimate Ninja Athlete Association. I was an owner of that organization and I was the kids competitive director. And that was like one of the main missions, right? Was like, can we create a sport that allows for everybody in the family to compete, right? Like the little brother, the little sister, the dad, the grandpa, they can all compete and they can all have that experience. And I think Ninja absolutely can do that. And it's funny. So I just got all this in the background here. I just got all this like Resolite, like soft foam equipment for my house. And my kids now, she just got up the 8-foot warped wall and she's not even 2 yet. And I used to have this perspective around Ninja is really best served for like kids that are 5 and up. Over the past couple of weeks, my perspective has totally changed on that. It's no, these young toddlers are like, this is super good for their development and they're super capable when it comes to this, right? It's like, it's just providing the space and the opportunity for them to just try and for them to, go out and have fun with it.
That you can't have that bubble boy mentality. You have to obviously let him be safe, but let him also be independent. I think I can't stop my son if I wanted to. Like he outruns my wife now, so she has a hard time getting across the mats. He just wants to do it. Like he just sees the older kids doing it and he's going to do it no matter what.
What does Ninja mean to you?
Ninja means community, it means strength, it means growth, and it means the future of kids if they just get off the iPads. Ninja is the way off the iPad.
Yes, I love that. Just went to UNAA Worlds and the World Obstacle Expo, and you had a couple kids get really good results, right? Like I think you got a world champion already for the gym only being a year old. What would you attribute that success to? And how did you take multiple kids to a world championship final and have them perform at such a high level?
Man, yeah. Shout out to his name's Adrian. He was 7U. He won UNAA Worlds. He won FINA. He came really close to winning WNAG. The kid, he is the hardest worker in the room. So anything I do, anything I want him to do, he'll just do it. He has a whole ninja setup at his house. So I think a big part of it is when a kid is that young and they are that successful, a lot of it is the parents. So the parents that really do that for them, have something at the house, traveling to all these competitions, making sure the kids are at the practices, making sure they're there multiple days a week. So yes, it's the kid, but huge shout out to the parents that make that available for them because the kids can't walk here. So they have to get them here. And the kids just, if I get them in here, I can make them work. I can have them work. I just grew up with a mentality with everything that is around this sport requires strength. So I work these kids They hate cliffhangers by the time they're done with me, man. They're on cliffhangers more than any kid I've ever met in my life, but they love it, man. I have a 30-foot cliffhanger board, and they can't start class unless they get across it 3 times.
Oh, there you
So,
go.
but that's just what it was. I grew up with Chris Wilczewski. Chris Wilczewski used to make me bleed with cliffhangers because strength is the first thing that comes with it. Everybody learns how to link, but they got to learn how to hang first, and they got to stay up there. And that muscle endurance is the most important part. So yes, that's a huge part of it, but the parents are the first thing. Thank you to the parents to get them here. But yeah, our kids they're thriving. I'm doing a little banquet for them here in a week or so, and they're going to be excited about all the things that I tell them.
Parents, you guys are the MVP out there, right? And I've always said that this industry is driven by the parent dollars, right? And their effort to grow this sport as well. But I do think that it's important to recognize and celebrate those kids, right? So I think it's awesome that you're going to do a little banquet for them. They got to be able to feel that achievement. It's got to be a big deal. And if you don't make it a big deal, nobody else is going to.
Thing about it, with the gym, I have pictures of these kids all over the wall. So I get portraits printed out and I put them everywhere and like banners of them because I want them to be celebrated when they do walk in, like immediately. I want them to tell their friends like, yeah, that's my gym. I'm on the wall like 2 times. I want them to feel cool. Always got the kids displayed. Everybody's got to be displayed. Got to make sure people feel welcome here.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much for the chat today. It was so awesome to learn about you and your gym. How can people get connected with you? How can they learn about Ninja Lair?
If they go on anything, it's just at Ninja Lair on Instagram, at Ninja Lair on TikTok. Mine is at I am Mikey P. Check me out. But if you find Ninja Lair, I'm sure you can find me.
So sweet. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.